It's fucking cold. It's fucking cold. What's up, guys? Welcome. Um, I'm gonna just start this off by saying I live in a 120-year-old house, and I record this in my uninsulated attic, and it's currently 9 degrees out. It's 9 degrees out in Western New York. So it's fucking cold. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but the steam coming off my tea right now is absolutely insane. And you can see my breath. I know it's not going to pick that up, but I can fully see my breath. It's fine. First things first. The first episode that I put out was recorded before the murder of Alex Preddy. And I want to take a minute to just say, first of all, fuck ICE. I know this is only episode 2, but I'm coming at you with my views. Okay, fuck ICE. Fuck all that shit. I used to live in Minnesota before we moved to New York. Both me and my husband went to college in Minnesota. We went to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Go Gophers. And we lived there during COVID and the murder of George Floyd. So this isn't the first time that Minneapolis has shown up in a big way in the last couple of years, you know. And I feel like there are so many things that like I could talk about what's going on in the country for literal hours, but I think the main thing that I just want to say is I've seen so much surprise about Minnesota kind of being the centerpiece of this resistance and this standing up for human rights. You know, there's been so much surprise around that and so much, I think, shock from people who aren't familiar with Minnesota or think of Minnesota as kind of like, like whatever place. You know, it's in the Midwest, so it kind of gets disregarded. But Minnesota is the best place I've ever had the privilege to call home, truly. Oh my God, am I gonna cry? No, maybe. People are so shocked that there is such fierce dedication to protecting human lives and democracy in Minnesota. But to me, it's really not shocking at all because when I moved to New York from Minnesota for grad school, my biggest culture shock was that strangers don't smile at you when you walk past them, right? Like strangers don't go out of their way to, your neighbors don't go out of their way to introduce themselves to you. And if you try and introduce yourselves to them, they think you're fucking weird. Like, people don't give you personal space. And there's just a lack of like mutual respect out here that was so prevalent in Minnesota. That is so ingrained in the culture in Minnesota. It's like the neighborliness is at the core of the culture there. And so it's not shocking at all that Minnesota is leading the resistance essentially in this country at this time. And I'm eh! trying not to get emo. But all of that is to say, I just really have a lot of love for Minnesota. I'm thinking about my Minnesotan peeps every day. You know, I still have family there, still have tons of friends there. Um, Cheers to people in Minneapolis who are really truly looking out for their neighbors. And I'm gonna link stuff to the Minneapolis Mutual Aid or the Minnesota Mutual Aid in my bio, if you are interested in finding ways that you can help the wonderful people over there. So, okay, well, I had to hit you with the downer. I had to hit you with the downer before we got into the other stuff. What else has happened this week? Oh my God. We saw Hamnet last night. We saw Hamnet last night, and it was one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Okay, Paul Mescal and that little boy whose name I think is something like John Bon Jovi Jupe or something. No, that's not it. Jacoby Jupe, I think is his name. The little boy who plays Hamnet. He was brilliant. He was he was so brilliant. And Jessie Buckley, oh my god, the one of the best actresses of our times. Fabulous. But I got to tell y'all, so this isn't a spoiler because everybody knows or should know at this point. The whole premise of the movie is that Hamnet dies. That's not a spoiler. It's in the trailer. Like, you know he dies. We're watching the scene where Paul Mescal, Paul, I'm talking to you. Listen to this. This is what happened last night. Paul Mescal, Will Shakespeare, walks into the house, sees his dead son. What happens? Bro, somebody farted. Somebody farted. Somebody farted in the silence of Paul Mescal, Will Shakespeare observing that his son died. One of the most heartbreaking scenes in the movie, and somebody let go a quacker. What the fuck? In another world, if I was a different kind of person, I would have been like, yo, who the fuck just farted? Like, who the fuck farted? Was it you? Who farted? Like, that was a crazy time to let one rip, okay? Absolutely insane and malevolent. I can't. Can you imagine just like ripping ass right after a child dies in a movie? Fucking crazy. It was crazy. Um but you know what? And this is Oscar voters, listen up. The scene was still so intense and like it sucked you in so hard. Fart registered. I didn't laugh. No one laughed. Not even my husband. Like, and we laugh at farts. Like, that's funny. But no one laughed. We were locked in. Oh, God. Go see it if you haven't. It should win every Oscar this year, honestly. If Jessie Buckley doesn't win lead actress, I'm going to freak my shit entirely. What else? What else do we got to get into before we start stories? Net. Ham! Ham causes cancer. Did you guys hear about that? Ham gives you fucking cancer now. It's class 1 carcinogen. What the fuck? Maybe that's what got me.
Let me get a sip of my tea in before we start the stories.
I'm going to read 3 today. I'm feeling spicy, so we're going to read 3. And the first one is from one of my best girls, Alex. I've known Alex for almost 25 years, which is a crazy thing to say. And I want to give a trigger warning for this. It does have to do with barfing, okay? I'm an emetophobic girly, recovering emetophobic. Um, and like, I don't want to do a lot of barf stories, but this one I'm gonna I'm gonna let slide because it doesn't go into great detail. So if you are a emetophobic like me, fear not. It doesn't really it's not like super nasty. It's not ugh, you know. Let's get into it. Okay. So from Alex, she they from Salt Lake City, Utah. All right. Alex says, so listen, this literally happened last Tuesday, and I didn't realize it was a bucket list endeavor, but here we are. Your girl majestically threw up in a public restroom after trying a matcha tonic. Oh, I'm in the middle of talking with my apartment to transfer units because we're looking to downsize and save money in this economy, period. At the time, things were pretty uncertain, so I took it upon myself to tour 6 other apartments in one day, and oh my god! Salt Lake City is ridiculous. This isn't New York, my darling. Please don't expect me to pay that much for a Harry Potter adjacent broom closet! Yeah, that's real. Anywho, touring these apartments stressed up the wazoo, and I have a little coffee date with one of my gal pals. So I'm like, great. Okay. This will be a good reprieve from my stomach curdling anxiety. We meet at this cute cutie spot downtown. It's chic, it's cozy, it's fun, and they've got some wacky drinks. One of said wacky drinks was a matcha tonic. I asked the barista if they recommended it, and they gave fair warning that it was for an acquired palate. What the fuck? But for some reason, I said, fuck it, let's go. Let's do it. I probably would too. So, what do you get when you mix intense anxiety, a stomach already chock full of acid, and tonic with matcha floating around? Oh, God, that's so gross. Glorious projectile vomiting. I am proud to say I think I got away with it. We aimed appropriately, and the toilet received all backsplash, or all splashback. I squeezed the tears out of my eyeballs and dramatically splashed my face with cool water, then shakingly made my way out of the bathroom. Thank God it was a one-person setup and walked on jelly legs back to my friend. You know what I'm hearing in my head is that Charlie XCX, I think I'm gonna die in this house. I think I'm gonna die in this house. Oof. Um, Sidebar. I used to work, my first job ever was at a coffee shop, and the way it was set up, like behind the coffee bar, we shared a wall with the bathroom. And the amount of times that like somebody would like walk past the coffee bar, do a little tip of the hat as they go into the bathroom and like you just keep on working, but then you hear the noises. It sounds like someone's like killing a rat or something like in the bathroom. You can just hear it right through the wall. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then they'd walk back out and do another little tip of the hat, and you'd just have to pretend that you didn't hear them absolutely at war with their intestines in there. Man, coffee shop bathrooms are probably some of the most violent, horrific places aside from like a rest stop in the middle of an Indiana freeway. You know, like shit goes down in those bathrooms. Anyway, literally. Anyways, we bust our table and the barista goes, "Not your favorite." In regards to my half drunken vial of poison. Cringing, I could only give them an apologetic smile and a shrug of the shoulders, lest the moment I open my mouth and the other half comes back up again. Anywho, love matcha, love tonic, beware of the two together. And maybe throw up in a public restroom. I think it's a very humbling experience we all need. Love you, babes. Cheers. Alex, I love you so much. I never want to throw up in a public restroom. That is actually one of my worst fears of all time, and I hope to never experience it. And going back, speaking about a rest stop bathroom, when we were driving home for Christmas this year, there was someone going through something bad in the Ohio rest stop bathroom that we stopped at. Like, I'm talking like toe curling bad. Okay. I got out of there so quick because I was like, I need to give this person I know this is a public bathroom, but this person deserves some peace. Okay. Man, it gets bleak when you're going through it in a public restroom. Okay. I think in terms of embarrassment, I would only rate that like a 3 out of 10, truly, because you're the only one who knows for sure it happened. Granted, maybe the barista heard your projectiles through the wall and had great concern, but like really truly like you're the only one who knows the extent of the horrors that unfolded in that bathroom. So, 3 out of 10. Great story though. Great writing. I loved it. Alex is a Fumby Tumby girl. Okay. Alex, get that Fumby Tumby. Alex, I'm gonna blow up your spot real quick. We went out to eat when we were all back home for the holiday, and we had the most vile pastas and drinks served to us. And we're not critics. Like, we be eating. We're we're real eaters. And there was just something so wrong with everything that we got, and the textures were all so fucked up in like every dish we got. Alex took like 2 bites of one of the pastas and went like green, and that Fumby Tumby was acting up hard. Okay, where my Fumby Tumby girls at? Where my Fumby Tumby girls at? Okay. Okay, on to the next. Okay, I can't read the title of this one. I'm just gonna get into it. This one is from Anonymous Boy 6969. That's how you know he's a millennial. If he was younger, it would be 6767. He, him in upstate New York. Anonymous Boy 6969 writes, "Hi Mick. Lately my TikTok algorithm, whoa, has started to throw a lot of shit at me about how we all had that one kid in our grade who wore a damn suit to school. I have come to this inbox to admit my most heinous truth as you see dot 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 dot. The truth is that I was that kid." Oh! Oh, that is a tough pill to swallow, babe. I was a small boy. I was a small boy. Shrimpish, really. At 13, I went through confirmation. Shout out to my other ex-Catholics in the room. Period. Samesies. And got my very first suit for the occasion. Getting your first suit when you're 13, awkward and shrimpish, the fucking word, is risky enough, but the odds were certainly not in my favor due to this also being a period of time when my mom had Mad Men on in the background all the time. You see, this made John this made John Hamm my idol. He spelt it H-A-M. Is that how you spell John Hamm's name? I thought it was with two M's. This made John Hamm my idol. I wanted to be suave and cool like him, didn't we all? So, so what did I do? I decided that I would begin wearing my suit to school every Monday. That gave, I'm cringing for you, babe. I registered that this made other kids stare at me. However, I misregistered the types of stares that I was receiving. While 13-year-old me thought that they were staring at me with awe, envy, and lust. Older me understands that these stares were more of the "what the fuck is he doing" variety right from the get-go. I wore my hey, what the fuck? I wore my suit to school every Monday for 2 whole months. During this time, kids started calling me Mr. President. That's fucking evil. Mr. President. I didn't think they were making fun of me until one day in my math class, some kids said, "How's it going today, Mr. President?" The boys around him began laughing, and I was going to reply with a John Hamm-like suaveness, but one of the boys in the group suddenly interjected, "Dude, why the fuck do you wear that suit all the time? You gay or something?" You gay or something? The class roared with laughter. The world around me shifted and tilted. The suit had been a mistake. Oh, buddy. No, I bet you looked so dapper. I think I managed to redeem myself and earn back the respect of my classmates over the next couple of years. I did sports and dated people. Boys. Turns out I actually had a crush on John Hamm. Oh! Anyways, burn this email. XO Anonymous Boy 6969. Oh my god. I bet you looked so dapper. I bet your mom thought you looked so cute. Like, but I bet as like a mom, you see your son, your like shrimpish son do that, and you're just like, oh. I mean, now if I saw like a kid doing that, I would totally be like, "You're so freaking cute." And I love that you were like, "Oh, I didn't want to be John Hamm. I just was in love with him." That's so real. Okay, last story. It's a shorty. Okay, last one. I'm not gonna read the title of this one either. So this is from L, just the letter L, she, her, in Minnesota. Minnesota strong, baby! Okay. L writes, I was a pretty hardcore, work hard, play hard student in college. I put my liver through a lot at that time, but also maintained a respectable GPA. Go off. I don't know how I managed it. Me neither. One thirsty Thursday. Oh, thirsty Thursday. I overdid it a bit. You know how this goes in college. You meet up with friends for what's supposed to be just a cheap pitcher of beer split between friends, and a few hours later it's 4 a.m. and you've had more vodka Red Bulls than you can count, and you're covered in glitter. I'm gonna just pause here. You and I had really different college experiences, it would seem. I have been a grandma since I was like 19. I had a couple nights, I had a couple in there. But I really like I've never stayed up till 4 a.m. I don't think I've stayed up until 4 a.m. since I was 10 years old in Alex's basement drinking Mountain Dew after Mountain Dew. Okay? Yeah. Um, sorry. Anyways, and you're covered in glitter. This happened that unfortunate Thirsty Thursday. I finally went to bed around 4 a.m. and had to wake up 4 hours later to book it to my 8 a.m. lit lecture. And on this day, it was a literal lit lecture because I woke up still drunk as fuck. It was the kind of still drunk where you think maybe you're just having a really weird, uncomfortable hangover, but no. On my bike ride to class, I realized I was definitely still intoxicated. Like I said, though, I worked as hard as I played, so I was dead set on not missing this lecture. Biking while drunk does count as an OWI, just FYI. I feel like a lot of college students, including me, forgot this. Yeah, pause again, sidebar. There was this incident that happened near my middle school when I was growing up where there was this huge hill near the middle school. And growing up in Wisconsin, like the winters were slippery. And these two drunk people both crashed into someone's car and like went to jail big time. They both got OWIs. Oh, and it was a teacher's car. They crashed into a teacher's car at the bottom of this big icy hill because they were drunk on their bikes in the middle of a Wisconsin winter. So you can get an OWI and go to jail for that, just so you know. Elle seems to have gotten away with it though. Okay. I arrived at my class safely, good, and tried to lock in for the lecture. We were talking about Byron at the time. Lord Byron. Um, my memories of the class are overall fuzzy, to say the least, but I'll never forget breaking out in a fit of giggles after my TA teaching the class said the word Byronic. He paused and turned towards me, asking, "Something you'd like to share?" It was in that moment, through my drunken giggles, that I said, in the tune of Alanis Morissette, "Isn't it Byronic? Don't you think?" He just stared at me. No one laughed. Not a single one. The TA fully turned and proceeded with the lecture. And isn't it ironic? Don't you think? The anxiety and humiliation hit me like a fucking bus, so I gathered my things and dashed from the class. After a pit stop After a pit stop to barf and cry in the bathroom, I caught a bus home. I sat in the back of the class for the rest of the year, and I only drink 2 times a year now, Christmas and my birthday. L. L, that's fucking awesome. I don't think I've ever been that drunk. I'm gonna be so honest, and I'm not shaming you for this because I do think everyone has done something embarrassing when intoxicated if they partake in that lifestyle, right? Like it's just an inevitable. If you are inebriated, you're gonna say some whack shit. You just did it at like 9 in the morning. That shit is funny though. I'm impressed that even though you were like drunk still, you were able to lock in enough and be like, isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Holy shit. You went to Minnesota, so I'm wondering if you were a U of M student. Maybe we crossed paths. Oh my god. You guys, you're all brilliant, and I love all of these. These are all so good. Like, these are all so cute. Um, I feel like I have so many thoughts. We circled back to ham quite a few times today. Hamnet, John Ham, ham being a carcinogen. Ham was the moment today. Okay. I'm gonna go eat some ham after this and risk it all. Um, if you have a story that you want to tell, a humiliating tale that you think the world needs to hear, that I need to read, please, for the love of God, send it to me. You can write it in at fauxpodshow@gmail.com. That's FAUXPODSHOW@gmail.com. Include your name. Doesn't have to be your real name, but your name, your pronouns, where you're from, and shit, give it a little subject, give it a little title. I love it when they have titles. Like Suit Boy, his title was I was a middle school suit wearer. That's hilarious. Please. So include a little subject line. And yeah. Oh, the next recording is going to be for Valentine's Day, right? The next episode after this is Valentine's Day. And I think this episode comes out in February. What the fuck? So if you want to write in any like embarrassing dating stories or like love mishaps, bro, what? I don't know, like any kind of like romantic whoopsies, maybe something gross that happened on a date. I don't know. Just write them in. I want to hear it, please, please. But again, that's fauxpodshow@gmail.com. You can follow on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube, all at Faux Podcast. Please subscribe. Please like if this is on YouTube. Give it a rating if it's on Spotify. I don't know, tell your mom about this? Have your mom write in her humiliating stories? Oh god, that'll be another future episode. I want everyone to get their parents to write in embarrassing stories. Oh, I know my dad's got a few. But okay, guys, please stay warm. Unlike me in my attic, in my coat with my tea, stay safe and fuck ice, right? Bye.